Back on the 26th of February, after wrapping up my half marathon training block, I broke down the 11 running shoes that I'd used during that training block. The question is, do you really need 11 running shoes in a rotation? Well, obviously not. It just so happened that I was testing a few extra shoes alongside mixing in some old ones for fun. But now for my recent 5k training, everything has changed and I've locked into a 4-shoe rotation. So today I want to share with you what they are, discuss the potential future additions for the second half. So for me right now, this is my best 5k training shoe rotation because it does 3 things. Number 1, it allows me to avoid using carbon plated shoes in training, which I try to do. I drop them in every now and again, but for the most part I like to avoid using them and save that magic for race day. Number 2, these shoes all do the job that I need them to do really damn well. They provide enough comfort on those days when I need the comfort, but they also provide enough speed when I need to turn the legs over fast. And number 3, in my mind, it keeps things super simple, super easy, and I don't need to think about which shoes I'm going to be running on which day. I know exactly where they're placed. So without further ado, let's get into these 4 shoes that I'm currently using in my 5k training block. So let's get straight into it with the Easy Day shoe. This is the On Cloud Surfer 2, probably for a lot of people the least exciting shoe, shall we say, because it just does the easy miles. But this one's working really well for me, probably the surprise package of the year so far. I didn't expect to like this one as much as I did. Thought I'd get some testing done in it, thought I would kind of use it here and there, but no, I've really gravitated towards it. I've got a lot of other good options in my rotation. I've got a lot of other shoes that I could be using, other On shoes with higher stack, softer cushioning. I've got Brooks shoes that I could be using, the Ghost 16, the Ghost Max, which I probably wouldn't use, but the Ghost 16 is a good option. I've got the Pegasus Plus, which I've raved about being used for a good daily trainer. I enjoy that one as well. I could be ramping that one up to 100 miles. But I find myself going towards this one. I think the reason really is more so the fit and the feel of this shoe. I think On have made big steps forward with their upper fit, something that has lacked in the past. I've found the uppers to be relatively sloppy. Sometimes the fit on them isn't as dialed in as other shoes, but you get some good cushioning in this shoe. So you get good comfort, a good fit, a good lockdown over the foot. I feel like this wider base lacing system here does a good job of drawing things over the top of the foot. And I do feel good comfort. I think what I will say for a lot of people, you'll either love it or hate it. I love it because I'm a firmer midsole type of guy. I'm not a massive fan of the super soft stuff, and this one definitely is on the firmer end of the spectrum. You can see there, I know this is not a scientific test in the slightest, but just trying to squeeze it there is not providing much give at all. The midsole does a lovely job of just compressing and popping enough to give you what you want on your easy day, but not being too responsive so that it makes you run a bit too fast or being completely dead and null and void. So yeah, massively impressed with this one so far. And then along comes the Adidas Evo SL, probably my shoe of the year so far. I feel extremely lucky to have this in my rotation. I'll say it one more time because I just love saying it. You will not get a better shoe with Lightstrike Pro racing caliber midsole in a daily trainer for the price of £130. Yes, sizing can be an issue in Adidas. I have made that modification as I've showcased a few times, but now that that's done, this is an absolute gem of a shoe. It is absolutely brilliant. So of course, when I first got it into the rotation, I used it for absolutely everything. I was just so eager to ramp this thing up and break that Lightstrike Pro in. If you know anything about Lightstrike Pro, it's that it gets better with age. It's completely different to a lot of other midsoles where you start to feel like it's going to fall off a cliff after a certain amount of mileage. This one, you almost have to wait for 100 miles before it starts to break in, and it's still enjoyable up to that point. But I can say now, after about 130, 140 miles, which I've got in it at the moment, it's really opening up nicely. It is really becoming super soft, nice and enjoyable. Look at that. We are completely different from when we started in this shoe back at the beginning. So how do I use it? Well, for a lot of easy days, steady days, and workouts as well. The more low-key workouts, not the super fast stuff. So whilst I'm 5k training, I am currently working in the first half of this block over and under paces. The under paces, as in the quicker paces, are being dealt with the next shoe, but this one right here is dealing with all of the stuff slightly slower. So I found this one to be really good. Realistically, a marathon effort, half marathon effort, even to be fair at 10k effort. There are going to be better shoes for that faster turnover and that top end stuff, but for me, this is just probably the ultimate jack of all trades shoe out there right now. And now that it's gone out on full release, everyone can grab a pair. And the third shoe is going to be the Adios 9. This is my second lightest shoe that I've ever tested. 5 grams, I think it is, behind the Streakfly version 1. This is the shoe that I use for all of my speed work. You will have probably seen this in a few videos recently where I'm showcasing those workouts leading up to these sub 16-minute 5K attempts. This is brilliant, and I'm going to say it now. I think Adidas are going to be a strong contender right now for brand of the year. So I picked this one back up in February. I was just starting to wrap up my training block for my half marathon, and I knew that I just had to be patient and wait for the 5K block to start. So I waited a few weeks, and now, sure as eggs are eggs, every single week this one is getting a run out. So I think I've got around 50 or 60 miles in it now. So this one's going to be a slow creeper up to 100 miles, but I'm only using it once a week. I find that it is brilliant. Not only have we got, once again, that Light Strike Pro midsole foam, but it is so lightweight. So for those faster intervals, I genuinely feel like now I've put a few workouts in this, I can safely say I don't have a better shoe than this one for those workouts. And then wrapping up the 4-shoe rotation for the racing shoe, which I'm not using in training, only at racing, is still the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3. This one is absolutely outstanding. So did the initial testing early doors, was it back last year, early this year, got some races in, actually, sorry, it was this year. First race was a Linda Franks, then it was a Boddington 10, then I used it for my half marathon, and I have not taken it off my feet since. I get questions from you guys on all of the social platforms saying, what are you going to be racing in today? What are you know, when I'm approaching a race, and the reality is the answer is not changing. I am sticking with the Puma. There's no reason not to. So I've got about 85-ish miles in this shoe, I think, or around that mark. And I guess the question is now, when's it going to start falling off? I'd love to hear from you guys, actually, how many miles you've got in your Puma and when you found that it started to go downhill in terms of performance. I've got to be honest with you, I'm kind of expecting it relatively soon, but I'm hoping it lasts a good amount of time. So with super shoes, it can really be different depending on the brand. I think realistically, the only one that I found that could have probably raced for a long time is that Adios Pro 3. Not that I would have done, because it was one of my heaviest racing shoes, but that one I could have raced into the 300-400 mile mark, and it's still been absolutely brilliant. What I tend to find is between the 100 and 200 mile mark, for super shoes in particular, they start to fall off in terms of performance. So I don't think I'm too far away. But then it comes down to the fact that I'll continue using it in training, just like I am with the Saucony Endorphin Elite. You guys probably saw, as I said in one of the videos published this week, I'm still using that shoe. That is very close to 200 miles now, and I refuse to lie down with these shoes. I feel like if we're going to spend that type of money, but I guess that's a bit hypocritical, because that Endorphin Elite was sent to me by Saucony for the purpose of review, but I pay for this one with my own money, and a lot of my other shoes with my own money. I feel like I want to get a bang for my buck and just take them as far as I can without them realistically causing an injury. So I'm excited to see at what point this one starts to fade. I'm hoping I've got another 80-ish miles. It'd be great if it started to fall off around 150 and not just over the 100 mile mark. If I could get a few more out of this thing, I will be delighted, because I'll be devastated when this one goes flat. So that is my current 4-shoe rotation. I am very happy with that, and I feel like it is ticking all the boxes that I need it to. I've got everything in there. Like I said in the intro, I've got all the cushioning I need, especially in the Adidas Evo SL, for the protection on a lot of those longer days and the easier days. Cloud Surfer 2 there does a great job with that as well. I've got the power and the speed and the lightweight nature of the Adios 9, and then of course for race day, still got that Puma going strong. But of course, I love to keep testing shoes and adding to the rotation, tinkering with things. That's something I really love to do. So what are the 3 shoes that I'm kind of eyeing up at the moment? There's one that I've been toying with all year, to be honest with you. We'll kickstart with that one. I guess it's still the Ride 18 from Saucony. I've just heard good things from you guys about that shoe. It's an easy day shoe. It's something you could probably use, by the looks of it, for easy and steady days. It's lost weight since the Ride 17, which, to be fair, I love the Ride 17. I thought that was a great shoe. And again, it's probably one of the most requested shoes I've had in my comments. Andy, can you test out this shoe? I'm still very, very tempted by that one. But of course, at the moment, whilst I've got the Evo SL and the On Cloud Surfer 2 going strong, I kind of feel like that's going to be third wheeling a little bit, and it's not going to get the attention that I want to give it. When I get a shoe into the rotation, I want to really throw it in there and start using it pretty well. So I'm not sure on that one yet, but I'll tell you one that I'm really eyeing up strongly, and I'm really just kind of hesitant for a few reasons, but at the same time, time I'm really close to maybe considering getting it, and that is going to be the Vaporfly version 4. I can't believe I'm saying it. I produced a super shoe video back earlier this year. I was talking about the Adios Pro 4, the new Hoka one, the Saucony Elite 2, and then of course the Vaporfly 4, and I actually said in that video that I'm not going to be that keen. It's probably my least favourite one I'm picking up. And obviously if you look at the specs, I put a community post out there the other day asking you guys if you were going to pick it up. You guys aren't particularly that keen on it either. It looks to have lost 2 mil in stack height, so it's gone to a 6 mil drop its own down to like a 35 mil stack in the heel from 40, and it doesn't particularly look to have an aggressive rocker. It does look to be a bit more of an old school racing flat. But what's drawing me to that shoe? Well, I've had good success with the Vaporfly, but the main thing is when I'm watching some of these early reviews right now, a lot of them are saying, yes, they feel like it can still do it all. Don't listen to people that are saying it can't run a marathon. They still feel like it could cover the distance, but it definitely feels a little bit more like a racing flat. It definitely feels a little bit more like a 5-10K shoe. Well, at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to be training for over the summer. I'm not looking to go longer distance until later in the year, so I could get a good fair few races out of it. When the Puma goes flat, that could be the one that comes into play. I'm just really torn. And the final one, which I believe is being released in May actually, so I've got a month or so to wait, is actually going to be the Boston 13. So I never tried the Boston 12 or the 11 or any Boston edition for that matter. And again, I had a lot of you guys telling me last year the Boston is something that you should try. Now, I will be honest with you, Adidas right now are up here in my rankings, especially with the fact that the Evo SL and the Adios 9 are doing so well. The Boston 13 looks to tick again a lot of boxes that I might potentially want. Good stack height, it's going to be a good cruising shoe. It's something that I think could get a lot of miles logged in my rotation, especially out on those steady long run days, and I'm quite excited by it. I feel like if they're working for me, which they are right now, then why would I maybe look elsewhere at other brands? Why don't I just stick with them and see what they're doing and give the Boston a try? I know a lot of you guys rave about them, so that's the other one I'm looking at, but as I said, I've got to wait a month or so for that one to come out. But of course, that's just my rotation in the wish list that I have to add to my rotation. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm sure a lot of you right now are either wrapping up a marathon training block, getting close to race day, or your goal race, whatever that might be, because I know there are loads of goal races in spring. But of course, moving into summer, what are you training for? And what might your rotation look like for those shorter, faster speed blocks? I love to sit down and compare what you guys are using compared to me for these shorter 5 and 10K blocks. I know marathon training is a completely different beast. This rotation now looks completely different to something that I would use in a marathon training situation. So I'd love to hear what your shorter distance training shoes are like, and if you have any recommendations, please do drop them in the comments below. And if you are interested in seeing how the Evo SL got on with the Endorphin Elite, what a pairing that was, then check out this video up here. That is the recent workout that I did leading into my 5K. And if you missed the half marathon training shoe list rotation of the 11 shoes, check out this one down here. See which awesome ones I got to test out in that block, and I'll see you guys over on one of those.